Greetings, fellow Whovians. Whovian Queen here. Hope you have a good week so far. We're looking at the 11th Doctor and now continues on with the next Christmas special, The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. So first let's take a look at a prequel here. On December 6, 2011, a prequel to the episode was released online. The 11th Doctor is seen on a spaceship holding a red button which, when he lets go, will cause the spaceship to explode. While holding the button, he has phoned the TARDIS to speak to Amy, asking her to rescue him. Although he does not have his coordinates, Amy cannot fly the TARDIS, and she is not on the TARDIS. The Doctor wishes Amy Merry Christmas before letting go of the button, and the spaceship explodes. So now let's take a look at the actual plot of the episode. In England on Christmas Eve 1941, the Doctor becomes the caretaker to Madge Adwell and her children, Lily and Cyril, as a favor to Madge for helping the Doctor find his TARDIS. Madge has received a telegram that the children's father, Reg, disappeared over the English Channel a few days earlier, but decides not to tell her children yet, hoping to keep their spirits up through the holiday. That night, Cyril is lured into a large glowing present under the Christmas tree, revealing a time portal to a snow-covered forest. The Doctor shortly discovers Cyril's absence and follows him with Lily. They eventually drag Cyril to a strange, lighthouse-like structure. Madge, finding her children missing, soon follows them into the forest, but is met by 3 miners in spacesuits. The miners tell Madge that the forest of the planet they are on is scheduled to be melted by acid rain within minutes, killing anything within it. At the lighthouse, Cyril is met by a humanoid creature made of wood. It places a simple band of metal around his head like a crown. Lily and the Doctor arrive, followed by another wood creature, but find the creatures have rejected Cyril as he is weak, as they do the Doctor. The Doctor concludes that the life force of the trees in the forest are trying to escape their living creature, with the crown acting as an interface. Madge safely reunites with her children and the acid rain starts. The wood creatures identify her as strong, and the Doctor realizes they consider her the mothership, able to carry the life force safely. Joining the band, Madge absorbs the life force of the forest, allowing her to direct the top of the lighthouse as an escape pod away from the acid rain and into the time vortex. Reg's plane follows the light of the pod through the time vortex and safely arrives outside the house at Christmas, reuniting Reg with his family. The life force of the forest have converted themselves into ethereal beings within the time vortex. Believing that Amy and Rory still think he is dead, the Doctor joins them for Christmas dinner. Aww. So now let's take a look at the production of this episode. The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe was written by head writer and executive producer Stephen Moffat, who wanted it to be the most Christmassy Christmas special ever. He stated that nothing is more fun to write than the Doctor at Christmas, as he considered it his kind of day. Everything's bright and shiny, everybody's having a laugh, and nobody minds if we wear a really stupid hat. The story is partly inspired by The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe from the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. Moffat said that Doctor Who and the Narnia stories come from the same impulse that children have of escaping to another world. The scene in which the Doctor is showing the Orwells around the house originally included a scene in a haunted coal cellar. The characters of Vengar and Billis are named after outgoing executive producer Piers Wagner and Beth Willis, both of whom served with Moffat. The 3 tree harvesters are from Androzani Major in the year 5345, a planet which features in the serial The Caves of Androzani. The Doctor mentions the forest of Cheam, which appeared in the 9th Doctor episode The End of the World. He mentions that one of them fancied him, and during that episode one sacrificed her life for him. The Doctor, the Widow, and Wardrobe marks the debut of Carolyn Skinner and Cece and Wagner as executive producers. The two had previously worked together. Moffat commented, "It'll be the smoothest handover we've ever done." The special was directed by Farron Blackburn, who previously worked with Skinner on The Fades. Blackburn stated that he was daunted, thrilled, and excited at the same time about the job and that it was tough. Blackburn's favorite sequences to direct was the opening sequence and the scene set on the Winter Planet, where he really felt like he was making a movie. When asked about the tone he wished to create, Blackburn replied, quote, "I would say there is kind of a mix. It goes through several worlds. I most definitely think it's most definitely a classic action-adventure, but I think it merges into the Edwardian children's story, and there's a sort of Tim Burton-esque magic about it as well. I think there's a magic throughout the episode, but there's an underlying suspense and tension and darkness to it as well. So I think it merges those three things with an awful lot of Christmas about it, end quote. The BBC announced in September 2011 that production had started for the special and filming was due to be completed by mid-October 2011. Filming was disrupted on September 30th by a 24-hour protest at BBC Wales because of compulsory redundancies. The opening sequence set in the corridors of a spaceship was filmed on September 20th, 2011 at Uskmouth Power Station. As the conditions were very noisy, the crew had to wear ear protectors. Filming of some scenes involving Alexander Armstrong took place in and around the Lancaster bomber Just Jane at the Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre on October 3rd, 2011. External footage of the lighthouse building took place in the Forest of Dean, Gloucestershire. Massima stated, quote, "It was a really tough shoot, out in a forest at night, and because there were children involved, some shooting schedules had to change radically. We often have to shoot through, no breaks. You get lunch at midnight or something." And now finally onto the casting. Alexander Armstrong was a breaker on the Doctor Who spin-off The Sarah Jane Adventures as the voice of alien computer Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith appeared in Doctor Who in the crossover episodes Still on Earth and Journey's End. Paul Casey is credited as the Wooden Queen. Casey has appeared in many Doctor Who episodes as various monsters, including Ood Sigma in The End of Time, Nephew and the Doctor's Wife, and a Cyberman in Closing Time. Doctor Who magazine, in its preview of the special, refers to Madge, Cyril, and Lily as companions, while 9-year-old Maurice Cole's Cyril Arwell is defined as the youngest companion in the history of the franchise. Arabella Weir previously appeared as an alternate incarnation of the Third Doctor in the Doctor Who Unbound audio drama Exile. Weir was genuinely surprised and completely thrilled to be offered the part. Bill Bailey was pleased to be given a comedic human character, explaining, quote, "The fact that I'm playing a human means that the expressions are easy to do. If I was a nude, with a face full of tentacles, that would have been harder to bring the funny." Yep, I can definitely see what he's talking about. So, yeah. So, overall, this Christmas special is pretty good, although it's definitely not one of my favorites, but it's still good overall. So, overall, I give The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe 4 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, anyway, tune in next time as we take a look at the Series 7 opener, Asylum of the Daleks. Well, hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it around, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified about when I upload videos. And want to help support my channel, then be sure to check out my Patreon page. Link as always is in the description below. So, until next time, this is Hooving Queen saying, "Oh my giddy aunt! When I say run, run! I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo!" Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool.